So to begin, I'm Patty from the Office of Total Rewards. And today we're going to explore the tuition benefits that we offer here at the University of Rochester, both for employees and for their dependent children. Okay, so there are two different types of employee tuition benefits that are offered. The employee tuition waiver is for employees who are taking courses at the University of Rochester. And the employee tuition reimbursement is for employees who are taking courses at outside colleges or universities. Each process has a different application, a process associated with it, and we'll go over both. So the employee tuition waiver benefit is offered to full-time faculty and staff that meet the minimum of 1 year of service. Full-time faculty and staff are eligible to take up to 2 credit-bearing courses per semester or quarter. This tuition waiver benefit is also offered to part-time faculty and staff, and they need to meet the minimum of 2 years of part-time service. Part-time staff are eligible to take 1 credit-bearing course per semester or quarter. So these service requirements for both need to be met prior to the course start dates. And if the courses are job-related or part of a degree program that would prepare you for a future position within the University of Rochester, then the tuition waiver percentage would be based on your salary band. So the supervisor determines whether or not the courses have job-related aspects. The salary bands with their associated percentages are shown on the right side of the screen right now, and these can also be found on our website as well. Non-job related courses are always waived at the 70% tuition waiver, and time as reported or per diem service would not be counted towards your service time. The employee tuition reimbursement benefit is offered to full-time faculty and staff that have met the minimum of 1 year of service. Full-time faculty and staff are eligible to take up to 2 credit-bearing courses per semester or quarter that are directly related to your current job at the U of R. The supervisor must agree that the courses are job-related in order to be eligible for reimbursement. The reimbursement percentage is 70% of the tuition cost. So in order to receive any tuition benefits for a course, active employment in an eligible status must be maintained through the successful completion of the course. Now we're going to go over the taxability of tuition benefits. If you're taking an undergraduate course, they are always non-taxable according to the Internal Revenue Service. Graduate or non-credit courses may be subject to taxes. So if the courses are determined to be taxable, you receive an IRS tax break for up to $5,250 each calendar year. After you receive tuition benefits exceeding that amount, the $5,250, any benefits received over that are taxed. So if the courses are taken at the University of Rochester, the Office of Total Rewards will notify the employee of the tax owed and the process of payment. If the courses are taken at another college or university, the taxes will be in the same paycheck as the reimbursement once it goes over that amount that was referenced. And it will be clearly shown in that paycheck under earnings. So to determine if your course is in fact taxable, the employee has to answer the questions on the screen regarding the course and their job position. This is true for the tuition waiver and for the tuition reimbursement. These questions are also located on our Total Rewards website as well. And as I mentioned, they're in both applications for tuition benefits. If the employee is uncertain of the answers to these questions, discussion with your supervisor is recommended since they need to answer the same questions as well. So if the courses are taxable, the applicable federal and state income taxes and FICA taxes will be deducted from your paycheck. The current IRS rate of 41.35% will be calculated on the tuition benefits received over the 5250, and the taxes are then deducted from your paycheck. The employee receives an email notification from our office prior to any deductions being taken from their paycheck with the taxable amount and the number of pay periods affected. If there are not enough pay periods to deduct the appropriate taxes, the email notification includes the total amount of taxes owed and the instructions for remitting a lump sum check payment to our office by a due date. This is only for the tuition waiver, that if you need to pay taxes on it. The taxable income is reflected on your W-2 for the calendar year in which the tuition benefit was either posted to your account or reimbursed to you. If the courses are non-taxable for a waiver, the employee will need to answer all the applicable questions on the online employee tuition waiver application, which is available in HRMS. And if the courses are non-taxable for a tuition reimbursement, the employee needs to complete the University of Rochester graduate tuition reimbursement tax exemption form. This form is found on page 5 of your application, and one form is necessary for each course that you believe to be non-taxable. So now we're going to speak to the dependent child tuition benefits that we offer here at the University of Rochester. So there are two different types of benefits offered for dependent children. The dependent child waiver is for dependent children who are enrolled in courses at the University of Rochester, and the different benefit amounts will vary depending on your service time, your employment status, and the type of the student's enrollment. And then the other benefit is the Eastman Community Music School discount. And then dependent children receiving musical instruction through the Eastman Community Music School, they are eligible for the 25% discount each term. So in order to be eligible for the dependent child tuition benefits, the student must be within 10 years of their high school graduation date. Active employment in an eligible status has to be maintained through the completion of the course for dependent child tuition benefits. And these benefits are contingent on the dependent child being accepted into the University of Rochester through the admissions office. So now we're going to talk specifically about the 10-year benefit, which is offered to regular full-time faculty and staff that have completed 10 years of full-time service and who has a dependent child that is a first year matriculating undergraduate freshman. So this means that the student has not attended a college or university before and will be matriculated in a program at the start of their attendance. Whoops, let me go back one slide. So the benefit is the difference between the full-time undergraduate tuition costs and the full-time undergraduate tuition for New York residents for baccalaureate degree programs at SUNY colleges. So on your screen here, we have included an example of the calculation of the benefit, which is in the blue box here. And this illustrates the amount of the tuition that would be waived. And so the SUNY rate is the amount billed for the tuition cost. So this benefit is limited to 8 semesters per child. The 50% tuition waiver is offered to regular full-time faculty and regular full-time staff that have completed at least 5 years of full-time service. And this would be whose dependent child is an undergraduate student within 10 years of their high school graduation. 50% of the tuition cost is waived. So there is an example calculation in the blue box on your screen. And as illustrated, half of the tuition cost would be waived, and then the remainder would be billed. This benefit is also limited to 8 semesters per child. And now the 25% tuition waiver benefit. This is offered to regular part-time faculty and staff, and they would need to complete 6 years of part-time service, and their dependent child must be an undergraduate student within 10 years of their high school graduation. 25% of the tuition cost is waived, and 75% of the tuition cost is billed. So previous to the other slides, an example calculation is provided in the blue box on your screen. And similar to the other benefits, this is limited to 8 semesters per child. Our last dependent child tuition benefit is for the Eastman Community Music School. It's a discount offered to regular full-time and part-time faculty and staff. You would need to have 1 year of full-time service or 2 years of part-time service. And then that service must be met prior to the class start dates in order to be eligible for the benefit. And the benefit is a 25% reduction in charges for musical instruction through the Eastman Community Music School. This discount can also be utilized by an employee who meets the service requirements that I just outlined and is a regular full-time and part-time faculty and staff. So now we're going to discuss applying for these tuition benefits. For the employee tuition waiver, you have to submit an online application in HRMS through the pathway that's listed on your screen. And then this is within 30 days of the course start date. After you submit the waiver application in HRMS, the application goes directly to your supervisor, and then they would approve their section. Then once your supervisor approves the application in HRMS, you receive an email confirming that your waiver has been submitted for your reference. Then the Office of Total Rewards works closely with the bursar's office to make sure that the employee waivers are processed correctly. Once the application is processed, the tuition waiver percentage will be reflected on the bill that is generated by the bursar's office. For dependent child tuition benefits, employees also apply online in HRMS, and that's through the pathway that's listed on your screen. We only need 1 application per academic year. Once it's submitted to the Office of Total Rewards, we then review the application. After the application has then been approved, the financial aid or bursar's office then applies it to the student's account. For employee tuition reimbursement, the employee has to submit a paper application to our tuition inbox within 30 days of the course start dates. Once your application has been received, the employee receives an approval or denial email within about 1 to 2 weeks of the submission. If the courses are approved, the employee must submit an itemized bill from the school, proof of payment, and proof of successful completion of the course or a final grade within 90 days of the course completion. And in order to receive the benefit, a passing grade must be received. Once all of this required paperwork is submitted to us, the reimbursements then will be loaded directly into the employee's paycheck within about 1 to 2 pay periods following the submission of the final piece of the paperwork. And then we do ask that you keep a copy of your application for your records, since it is a paper application. So employees may be eligible to receive tuition benefits service credit time if the employee has prior service from one of the following institutions. Would be another college or university, a U of R affiliated teaching hospital, or a member of the control group of the university that offered a tuition benefits plan for which the faculty or staff member was eligible. On the bottom of your screen here, there is listed the members of the control group, and then they are also listed on the form, which can be found on our website. You have to complete this tuition service credit form from our site in order for this previous service time to be counted. So all tuition benefits that the employee receives can be found in HRMS through the pathway that is listed on your screen. It's main menu, self-service, benefits, tuition, and then tuition benefits received. So this would show any tuition waivers, tuition reimbursements, or dependent child tuition benefits that you received as an employee. The tuition benefits are posted within 2 weeks of submission. Then you should be able to see them all listed here for your reference. So for any additional information, listed on your screen right now is our contact information. There is our website, and then our office number, and then the direct email for tuition benefits. This is also the email where you would send your tuition reimbursement paperwork, application. And if you had any questions or any issues with your tuition waiver, tuition reimbursement, or dependent child's tuition benefits.